Anansi the spider was walking through the forest one day when something unusual caught his eye. He said, "Isn't this a strange moss-covered rock?" Bam! Down he fell, and he didn't wake up for an hour. When he did wake up, he tried to figure out what had happened. He said, "I was walking along and I said, 'Isn't this a strange moss-covered rock?' Bam! Down he fell again. But this time when he woke up an hour later, he knew what had happened. He said, 'Oh, this must be a magic rock.' And when someone says, 'Isn't this a they fall down and go to sleep for an hour. This is good to know, and I can use this to trick the other animals." So the next day, Anansi went over to Lion's house. Lion was sitting on his front porch relaxing, and he was sitting right beside a great big pile of sweet potatoes. Now Anansi loved sweet potatoes, but he was too lazy to pick them for himself. He said to Lion, "Hey Lion, how are you doing today?" "Fine," Lion said. Anansi said, "It's very hot today. Would you like to go for a walk in the cool forest?" "Yes, I would," said Lion. So off they went, and Anansi led Lion to a certain place in the forest. He said, "Look, Lion, do you see what I see?" And Lion said, "Oh yes, Anansi, isn't this a strange moss-covered rock?" And do you know what happened? Bam! Down fell Lion, and he was asleep for an hour. While he was asleep, Anansi ran back to his house and stole all of his sweet potatoes. When Lion woke up an hour later, he went home and all of his sweet potatoes were gone. Lion felt so sad, but Anansi felt very happy. "This is a great trick," he said to himself. "I'm going to try it again." And he did. He tricked elephant and rhino, hippo, giraffe, zebra. He tricked nearly every animal in the forest, except for one. Now little bush deer lived in the forest, and she was very shy and quiet and hard to see, but she was also very smart. She had seen Anansi playing this mean trick on all the other animals, and she thought, it's time for Anansi to learn his lesson. So she went into the forest and she picked a great big pile of coconuts, and she took them back to her house. The next day, Anansi came along to Little Bush Deer's house, and he said, "Little Bush Deer, it's very hot today. Would you like to go for a walk in the forest?" "Okay, Anansi," said Little Bush Deer, and she left her coconuts right there on the front porch. Now Anansi loved coconuts, but he was too lazy to pick them for himself. So can you guess what he's going to do? He and Little Bush Deer went to a certain place in the forest, and he said, "Look, Little Bush Deer, do you see what I see?" Now remember, Little Bush Deer is very smart, and she said, "No, Anansi, I don't see anything." He said, "You see it. Just look right there. What do you see?" "I don't see a thing, Anansi," said Little Bush Deer. Anansi said, "You see it. You just don't want to say it." "What am I supposed to say?" said Little Bush Deer. "You know," said Anansi. "Oh, is that what I'm supposed to say?" "Yes," said Anansi. So Little Bush Deer said, "Well, if it will make you happy, I will say it. You know." Anansi was getting angry now, and he stomped his many legs, and he said, "That's not what you're supposed to say." "What am I supposed to say?" said Little Bush Deer. "You're supposed to say, 'Isn't this a strange moss-covered rock?'" Do you know what happened next? Yes, bam, Anansi fell down, and he was asleep for an hour. While he was asleep, Little Bush Deer gathered all the other animals in the forest. They went back to Anansi's house, and they took back their fruits and vegetables that he had stolen. When Anansi woke up and went home, his house was empty like it was before. But if you think Anansi learned his lesson, he did not. He's still playing tricks to this very day.